Over a tense 3-day period, with mounting pressure from civil groups, rescue operations has continued at the Stillfontein mine, and 78 bodies and 166 survivors have been recovered as the South African mine crisis unfolds. With me to continue that discussion is Mustafa. Mustafa, you're welcome to the show.
Okay, so sorry, are those numbers that you gave the total, or because I know that in the last 2 days, 36 corpses and 82 survivors have been brought up. So
It has
36,
risen. It has risen to 78 now as I speak, and about
78
one.
dead people. Yeah.
Yes, dead people, and about 166
That's just
survivors.
this week. So we don't
Yeah,
know what the numbers are. Probably at first we're thinking maybe thousands of people are dying. We won't know, but we know for sure that
sure.
almost 200 people have died and probably more than 300 illegal miners have been brought above the ground. Now, let's get back to how this all started. These were illegal miners who were making money under the ground when legal companies left. And the South African government, rather than try to go down there and get them out, they tried to trap them down there and smoke them out. And I'll start from there. What are your thoughts about that? Yeah.
Basically, the decision to smoke them out and the decision to weaponize starvation and dehydration has backfired catastrophically against the government because we
Yeah.
have over 100, we have a lot of fatalities. This raises serious concerns about human rights violation and ethical governance. So I think the government actually made a mistake. Yes, when they finally come out, you can begin to prosecute and find out who was right, who is culpable, who is criminal, and everything. But human life, first and foremost, should have been given priority. And
Yes.
yeah, and I feel the government did not prioritize that, and that is why the catastrophe is getting to enormous proportions. So to
And here's the thing. According, I'm not an expert on the South African Constitution, but citizens of South Africa have right to life. And even though it may not say that foreigners have right to life, I think that they should use common sense. These people under the ground are not strong enough to challenge the South African military and the police. Now, here are two things. They're saying that because those people under there are illegal miners, they shouldn't send police and stuff to help them. Here's two things. If they're illegal miners and they're South African citizens, then you still have the duty to protect their lives under there. You understand what I'm saying? It's
yes,
just
yes.
like if there's armed robbers who are from South Africa and they're South African and they're robbing a bank, you don't say, "Oh, we're not going to send police in there. We're just going to smoke them out." No, it's your duty to protect. And I think the South African Constitution reasonably protects all human life within reasonable parameters. You don't want to risk lives unnecessarily. Second thing, I'm going to argue that most likely more than 50% of those people under the ground are South African citizens. And the reason I say so is because their families are standing at the site saying, "Please help our brothers." These are South Africans. They're saying, "My uncle is down there, my father is down there, my brother is down there." And the government is like, "No, we don't care what's going on down there. We're going to smoke them out." Secondarily, some of the people down there were illegal miners who were desperate, South African and also non-South African, Southern Africans who were hungry, and they went down there to break the law. They broke the law because they're desperate. Just because you break the law doesn't mean you don't have a right to life. These people are not a threat to the police and the military. They can go down there and bring them out, arrest them. Second part, some of them who are under there now are being kidnapped and hijacked and held hostage. They've shown videos of people being beaten and bullied down there. So my thing is that the South African police and the military, when you get trained as a policeman and a military person, it means that we respect you because you risk your life for the protection of all human life, especially South African life. Them not going down there and just letting those people kill each other and starve and not sending, also it's deep down under the ground. They've blocked the area so that even when people want to come out, if you want to smoke them out, they can't. It's their responsibility to go down there. They're not taking the responsibility. They allowed uh NGOs and stuff to send people down, and now they're trying to save people because it's getting out of hand, but it's too late. What do you think? Yeah.
I agree with you. You're absolutely right. They're not taking responsibility, first and foremost, because they abandoned those mines and they left them in a decrepit situation, unsafe for people to mine. and potentially making logistical rescue operations very difficult. If they had not abandoned those mines and put them back in shape, this kind of lapses by the government wouldn't have been taken advantage of.
Okay, so
Then,
I'm going to strike back at you, not too much. The problem is that these were private companies, and they said, "Oh, we're not making money off the mining," so they left it. And you're right. Now that they left it, the government either needs to force those companies to block it and make it safe, or the government needs to do it themselves, and they didn't. What do you say? Yeah.
yes, I agree with you absolutely, Mustafa. But I think this kind of gold mines, there should be a kind of ratio, government owning a certain ratio, private sector owning a certain ratio, so that if
Yeah.
there's kind of crisis, it won't be the government totally abandoning it to the private sector.
Yeah, and my thing is that even if the private sector abandons it, then the government has to step in and use its resources
Exactly,
to fix it.
exactly,
Yeah, and the
exactly.
South African government doesn't want to do that because it's corrupt. But when it's time to give profits to shareholders from foreign companies making money off of South African gold and mining, it's okay. Second thing, the reason these companies shut down is because the gold mining business was not lucrative for them. Now,
Yes,
the
yes.
the the South African government and police said they're smoking these people out and causing them to die and things because they're stealing money from South Africa. Billions of dollars. They say it's billions. I don't think it's that many because this is very
Yeah,
informal mining. They say that it's stealing revenue. No, here's my argument. That revenue that they're protecting is for the mining companies so that they don't have competition from these illegal mines. It's not to help South Africa.
of
We've
course,
seen in
of
South
course,
Africa, black people are not living as well as they should. They're living in shacks.
of course, of course,
The economy is bad. People are raping each other,
of course. It's based.
alcoholism. So my argument is that what they're doing is trying to get the sympathy of the South African people. Say, no, we know help these people who they're stealing money from you. No, they're not stealing money from the South African people. They're stealing it from the white businesses and the politicians because even when those mines are working, even when the mining money is going where it should be going, it's not going to help South Africans in schools, in neighborhoods and things. What are your thoughts? Yeah.
I agree with you. The whole idea is to kill the competition and to create a monopoly where the
Yeah, and
private.
also once they create the monopoly, it's not going to help the South African people. It's going to help
Exactly.
Ramaphosa, Zuma, even I love him and Malama, all these guys who robbed the South African banks and took money from
Absolutely.
poor South African people. Yeah.
Absolutely. So they don't want the illegal miners to compete with them. They want to
Yeah, but they're
monopolize.
making it look like the illegal miners are stealing money from South African people.
No,
No,
no, no, no,
they're
no. This
stealing.
is this is commonwealth that should go
Yeah,
round, but they want to ensure that nobody
that they get their
competes.
profits.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So basically, and then they have not even addressed the root causes. High unemployment, poverty, has pushed most of these people
Yeah.
into illegal
And
mining.
most of
They
these
need to
miners are
provide.
South Africans.
And
Now,
most
I'll
of
give
them
you an
are South
example.
Africans, of course.
My prediction is that anywhere from 40 to 50% are foreigners. But my thing is that they're also South Africans. So it's and the foreigners that are there, they're from bordering towns, which are just a few kilometers away from South Africa. So this is basically South African people who are going down there illegally because the economy is not good. But they try to make it sound like everybody down there is from Mozambique and Zimbabwe. That's not true. And you know why we know it's not true? Because there are people standing there saying, I want my brother, I want my father, I want my son. He's under the ground. And these people are South African. Sorry, continue, Afolabi. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I feel a significant portion of the South African budget should go into rehabilitating abandoned mines. And those ones that cannot be used again should be sealed off completely, because these kind of things will continue. And the government will be caught between saving the lives of innocent people and
Yeah.
then prosecuting illegal miners. And at the end
And,
of the
and, I,
day, humanitarian efforts should be prioritized. That's the way I
and I'm
see
going
it.
to say, I don't care whether those miners are from Zimbabwe, from Mozambique, or from KwaZulu Natal, which is South African. Every human being, unless the human being is dangerous and can kill you, they deserve to be saved. After you save them, put them in jail. Unless they're a threat. It's different. If you have people who are there with machine guns and they can kill your police and kill your citizens, then you smoke them out. But you don't treat human beings like this. And we have to remember that people from Zimbabwe, Mozambique are Africans. They're the
Yeah.
same as South Africans. We're
Yes, I
one
agree.
people. We have to
Yeah.
stop treating each other like this because if there were white women down there, the whole country would be like, please save these white women. No, no, no. These are not white women. They're not black women. They're not black men. They're human beings. Some of them are down there because they are illegal, but because they were poor and want to feed their children. Some of them are real criminals, the guys with the machine guns holding people. But whoever they are, we have to find a way to deal with this. South Africa, which is a
Sure.
very rich country, has more resources than European countries, can go down there and arrest people and also save people and treat them humanely, put them in jail for a couple of months or whatever the crime is. But I think the government has dropped the ball on this, and this is a catastrophe. What are your last thoughts, Afolabi?
I agree with you. I think the government should be more selfless. The corruption in the government is making it difficult to create job opportunities and vocational training programs to reduce all these social problems that are causing people to mine illegally. Also, I believe there's a disconnect between the government and the local communities and the local governments. If they can
Yeah.
collaborate more with the local communities and find out what the issues are, because this is where these illegal miners are. These people want to be
Yeah.
engaged with government so they can, kind of partner with the government and understand where the
Mhm.
gaps are. So the government can plug the gaps so that they can reduce the drivers
Now,
of this kind of problem.
now, South Africa has 10 times or 1,000 times more wealth than Germany. But in Germany, you don't see people who have to go under the ground and do dirty stuff. So it
Yeah,
shows us that the reason that people are doing these illegal activities, putting their lives in danger, is because the wealth of South Africa is not controlled by its people. South Africa has moved past apartheid, but there's still a colonial state in which the resources are going to foreign companies. And that has to end. And like you said, when there's money there, you won't have illegal mining. You won't even need to have mining because South Africa's mines under there is not the only thing they have. They have resources and they can take care of themselves without having to trade with other countries. Thank you for this show. Last thoughts of Olabi and take us out.
yeah. I think there after all this, there has to be an independent investigation to hold the government accountable for the handling of this crisis so that people will
Mhm.
understand what is going on and the wrong message won't be sent to the outside world. Because outside South Africa, they'll begin to think that South Africa is becoming hazardous for foreign investors. So there has
Yeah.
to be transparency and accountability on how this was handled because I suspect a lot of foul play. I may be wrong
Oh, yeah.
though.
No, no, you're most likely right. I dare anybody to prove you wrong. Thank you. So Olabi, I'll see you in 30 minutes. This is
Okay.
Focus on South Africa. We're also part of Focus on Africa. We want to thank our watchers. Like and subscribe. And don't get angry at us because we're Nigerian guys talking about South Africa. You guys need to do shows talking about the bullshit we do too. Thank you, Afolabi. Good day. Yeah.
All right.